story to tell. And it's a wonderful day to be able to tell it, isn't it, on Halbert's 71st birthday. So it's a great birthday party for him. So thank you. I just want to say thank you, first of all, for inviting me to speak. And Rob, I have spoken at the dinner, and I gave a little bit of the story. So some of you have heard it already. So if you've heard it already, you can just say, oh, well, and just, But for those of you who haven't, I'll tell the wonderful story of how Father Support Center started, those very beginning days. Actually, I worked with some wonderful, wonderful women, and you mentioned your Sue, Doris Stainer, who is guiding a light here at Father Support Center. And I worked with Sue Breslau. Those are two wonderful women who have just giant hearts up for the poor, and we had worked together on some other projects like teen pregnancy. But as we worked, the more and more we realized there was something else that had to be done for our youth, our children. Something we talked about it, and we said, you know, our youth not finishing high school, they're getting into gangs, they're getting into drugs. What can we do? And, you know, the missing thing was a positive male figure in their lives, their fathers. So many of our children don't have a father in their lives. So we said, we've got to do something about that. So one of us said, well, first of all, they have to want to be a father, you know. They have to have a job, you know. They have to pay child support. Yes. All of those things. And they have to go through a program to learn how to relate to their children. That was really important. So the more we talked, the more the plan became our vision. And the vision then became Father Support Center. So as we sat around that little table and talked, that's how the vision was born. And we said, well, you know, who can we get? Somebody has to be able to be a director and take care of this program, run this program. We can't. Who can run this program? So wonderful Doris and Sue found Halbert, who had graduated from WashU with honors in social work, and the vision, our vision of Father Support Center was presented. And he said, well, I'm interested, I'll take the job. And so Halbert was hired. Wonderful, wonderful Halbert with the skills and the background and the qualifications. All of those things, as you read his life, all of those things that we said, yeah, that's the kind of person we need to run this program. So he was hired. And then we said, oh, we've got a great vision, but we don't have one red cent. we don't have any money to pay him. We don't have any money to pay his salary. So Sue looked at Doris and me, and we said, okay, we'll do it. So each of us, we went to our CEOs. Doris was the vice president for nursing at Christian Hospital, and I was the vice president for mission at DePaul Hospital. So we both went to our CEOs, and we said, you know, we have this wonderful program, this vision of how we can help our youth in St. Louis, but we need some help. Would you give us some money? We talked them a little bit, you know, we had to do that. And they said, yes, we'll help you. We will. And so in the beginning, our two hospitals helped us by paying Halbert's salary so we could get started. Now, that was good. We had somebody to direct the program. We had a salary for him, but we didn't have any place to go. We didn't have a place. So we met a couple of times in the school basement, but that really didn't work. So I had a board at DePaul, a mission board, and I was mentioning about our wonderful vision for children called Father Support Center. And one of them said, the CEO at Guardian Angels said, Sister, I have an empty classroom. You can use it. Oh, that's what we need. So we put a desk in one corner of the classroom, and that became Halbert's office. We put I chose my age, blackboard, whiteboard, whatever, in another corner, and some chairs in another corner, and that was the classroom. We put a table at the entrance, and that was a reception area. So there, we were set up. We had a director, we had a salary, and we had a place. So then Halbert looked at us and he said, well, what do you want me to do next? What do I do? So we said, we looked out the window there at Guardian Angel at the out of the classroom window. We said, look down there. And there were 3 men standing on the street corner. And we said, walk the neighborhood, find little groups of men like this and say to them, you want to have a relationship with your children? I'll help you. And Halbert looked at us and he said, that's what you want me to say? And we said, well, yeah, but if you don't think that's going to work, tell them we'll give them $50 a week if they come to the program for 6 weeks. And so, remember, we didn't have that much money, but we said, okay, we'll pay them. So we did. We kind of bribed them. So the first, Halbert got that first class, and he was the one and only teacher. Halbert was our teacher in the beginning. Wonderful, wonderful teacher with that background that he has. He could speak the language of the men, the fathers. He understood their hearts. He knew the longing that was inside, but they didn't know what to do with it. Halbert could speak to that. He spoke their language. He was wonderful, wonderful with them. So he got the first class started, and I have to say, I don't remember the number, but probably 5 or 6 wonderful fathers graduated from that very first program. So Father Support Group was off and running, and I hear that today, this year, 19,000 men's lives have been impacted. Blow your mind, doesn't it just blow your mind? As the 3 of us just sat around that little table and talked about that vision. 24 years later, we never would have thought 19,000. Better, but the whole purpose of our program, the purpose of it, was to help children. And almost 25,000 children's lives have been affected. So there's lots of thanks to go around. Thank you to wonderful Halbert today on his 71st birthday. Happy birthday, Halbert. Happy birthday. And happy birthday to our faculty. Halbert secured a wonderful, positively wonderful faculty for Father Support Group. And as you know, it has grown to include women, and it's now Fathers and Families and Children, Fathers and Families Support Group. So we have a board that guides us. Rob gave a wonderful description. The board has through the years has been wonderful in supporting and guiding Father Support. And then, of course, there are all of our fabulous donors who've reached deep into their pockets and have contributed. I do have to say that we have had donors, good donors in the past who have helped us. But most of all, it has been all of you who have said, yes, we want this organization to go, and we're going to be the spirit and the support and the energy that's needed. But you know, you are wonderful, and from the bottom of my heart and Doris too, I'm sure we say a huge thank you to each of you. As we talked even in those very beginning days, does it kind of surprise you that it just happened? That Halbert was available when we needed someone? Does it surprise you that it just happened? That Guardian Angel had a room ready for us? Or it just happened that our CEOs had enough money to pay a salary? All of those things happened, not because we did it. We didn't do it, we couldn't. It was God. God, Father Support Center. These are God's children, and this is God's way of taking care of his children. We're God's instruments. We are, Sue and Doris and I, we are God's instruments to get it started. And each of you is God's instrument in helping his children. So for that, again, I say thank you. Thank you.
And so today you ask, how do we carry on this wonderful legacy of Mr. Sullivan? Well, we do it by honoring what he started. We do it by making sure that our families are provided for. We do it by staying consistent with the mission of improving the lives of children and strengthening our families within the communities that we serve. Our 6-week class, the Family Formation class, last year served 651 participants. We helped to secure, place, and/or maintain employment for another 266 participants within those that we serve. For the State of Missouri Department of Corrections, we are now showing a 1% recidivism rate, where the national average is about 10%. The stats are unheard of. Our project is definitely a best practice as a model, as illustrated by the PAC study from Mathematica Policy and Research through the Administration for